Okay, so now we are on page 43, and we're now going to be moving on to dividing. I'm going to show you a trick that always works when you are dividing a polynomial in your numerator by a monomial in your denominator. So the trick I show you will always work, always, I promise. But you have to remember the rules of exponents. Remember, when we are dividing exponents, you subtract their your like terms with the exponents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle, and I'm going to start with these two terms. We divide our numbers like normal. We subtract our exponents. So I have 18 divided by -3. That is -6. And then I have x cubed minus just x. So I have x squared. And then I have y to the 4th minus y squared. So I have y squared. And that's the first term. It's that, I want to say simple because it might not be for some people, and that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm focusing on my two middle terms. 27 divided by -3 is a -9. X squared minus x is just x. Y to the 5th minus y squared is y cubed. And lastly, I'm going to look at my last term in my numerator, and then I'm dividing that with my denominator. So I have -36 and -3, which is +12. X minus x, that's nothing. And then I have y to the 6th minus y squared. So I have y to the 4th. Okay. So for this one, standard form, remember, is that you write them alphabetically, and your first term is written in decreasing order, your second is written in increasing order. So that's why my x terms, they went down from 2 to 1 to nothing, and my y terms went up from y squared to y cubed to y to the 4th. So this is standard form, and that is your answer. Okay, so let's look at 31. We're going to do the exact same thing. And I always circle, or you can highlight, whatever you prefer. I always circle the ones that I'm doing so that it stands out to me and I can kind of ignore the others. So I have -80 x to the 4th divided by 8x squared. So I have a -10x squared, subtracting those exponents, dividing those numbers. 24x cubed divided by 8x squared. So I have 3x. And now this part's very important. I have a -8x squared divided by 8x squared. So I end up with just a -1. Okay, so you don't just write 0. You have to actually write 1 or -1, depending on whatever the sign is. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to do 34 together real quick. So I actually have a monomial over a monomial this time, and that's actually what 32 and 33 look like as well. And so I'm just going to be able to simplify this using my exponent rules that I already know. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. A squared and a cubed. That's going to have an a on the bottom, isn't it? My b's cancel out, and I have c cubed as my numerator. So for this one, it's actually still a fraction. And guess what? That's okay. It happens. All right? So I would like for you to please do 32, 33, 35, 36, 37. Okay? So when you're ready, you can come back to the video, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you to pause it, and the answers will be here when you return. Okay, guys, so here's your answers that you should have gotten. But I want to talk about 36 for a second because that one was a little unique. when I did the circle method to figure out what I was dividing, I ended up with 4x, which hopefully we did okay with that. 12 divided by 3 is 4, x cubed, and x squared. Subtracting their exponents, you're just left with x. But when I did the second set of terms, 15x over 3x squared, I'm just going to rewrite that so we can see it. 15 divided by 3 was 5, and then 5 is in the numerator because that's where 15 is, and that's the larger number. But I was left with x as my denominator instead of being able to just have like 5x, for example. So fractions are allowed. Keep them as fractions. And remember, we never, never, never like negative exponents. They always have to stay positive. Okay. So we only have 2 more videos to do. And again, if you need to take a mental break before you start the next video, go for it, but you are not distracting those around you.